Okay, this isn't really that related to baby stuff, but it is, so bear with me as I just say, Saturday was a crazy day. My wife and I got up early, we went to the city, we started by doing baby stuff, went to Bye Bye Baby, which is a great baby store. It has a lot of advantages over Babies R Us because there's like a no-hassle return policy, really easy to exchange things. They also accept 20% off coupons from various different stores, and everyone was there just very friendly and helpful, and they give you bottled water, which is great on a hot day. So Liz and I created a registry, and we started going through just with a little barcode scanner, going like, maybe we want this, and maybe we want this. And the idea was that even, you know, we weren't sure, like, that's the little baby spoons we want, it's a reminder to ourselves that, yeah, these are things that we either need to buy or hope that someone else gets us, and then we'll refine the registry from there. So we started there, and then we ended at like noon, and then what we had to do was go to 3 parties in Brooklyn. Now this is fascinating, and you know, I was actually supposed to go to my 10-year reunion this weekend, but we were in Vermont for Katie's wedding last week, so I was like, okay, well, there are a couple people I'd love to see at the 10-year reunion, but also, there's a ton of people I want to see in Brooklyn at these different parties, and so it was kind of this like, okay, well, you know, once the baby comes, we are not going to have an opportunity or the energy to do anything like this for a very long time, so let's do it, let's pretend we're in college one last time and go to a bunch of parties, and just, you know, it's just a crazy coincidence that 3 parties all in Brooklyn, all within kind of like the Bed-Stuy Park Slope area, were all happening at the same time, and that they were staggered in such a way where it was like, yeah, we can do all 3 of these. So first we went to a party that was hosted by someone we knew from high school. It was like a pizza party, made some pizza, that was fantastic. Got to see some people who we knew there and some people that we hadn't met. Met some really nice people, and they're involved with everything from like video game design and coding to the circus and insane fire stunts and stuff like that. So that was one crowd. Then we moved on to our second party, which is one of Liz's best friends, and they live in Bed-Stuy, actually very nearby where we used to live, and I was kind of tempted to like walk by our old apartment, but we didn't, and again got to see some people who I hadn't seen in a very long time, and then got to meet a bunch of new people and had some great discussions about babies and motherhood and high school and how people have changed and, you know, wedding stuff, and that was a lot of fun. So the first party we were at from like 2 p.m. to 4:30 or something like that, because the train took forever, because weekend subway construction makes me actually really grateful I'm taking the Metro North. And then we went to the second party for a few, maybe 3 hours, probably from like 5 to 8:30, maybe 9, or yeah. Then we took the shuttle down to Park Slope for the third party, which is a more recent friend who I can really only say I crossed over the threshold from acquaintance to friends with fairly recently. He's a very cool guy named Jason Oberlance, who created a Tumblr you might know called I Love Charts, which is amazing, and he's a super cool guy and obviously knows a lot of super cool people, and that was amazing too. So long story short, a lot of partying, a lot of socializing, a lot of drinking different things, not Liz, and eating different things, and getting to talk to we probably spoke with 150 people. We caught the last train out of Grand Central, got home at 2:30 a.m., and wow, what a day. Sadie took it like a champ. Baby. Baby is going to make this never happen again, quite possibly, in our lives. Whenever I go to parties, I'm always looking for cross-pollination. I find it really interesting that even if I'm with different crowds or different people from different aspects of my life, there still ends up being some really interesting overlap in strange places. Like, both in the same night, at one party I was talking to Alex Yablon about leaving New York Magazine and how a lot of the job involves fact-checking, and that becomes kind of a burden, you know, just going over every little detail of an article. And some companies, of course, have other people that do that. And he was talking about how it's actually pretty common at that magazine to leave, go do something else, and then get hired back like once you've achieved some level of status, and then you don't have to deal with, you know, some of that busy work anymore that used to be like an intern job, that kind of thing. And then at the third party down Park Slope, I ended up speaking with a couple people writing for like the New York. Then down at the party in Park Slope, I ended up speaking coincidentally with a guy I haven't seen since January of last year, because he offered up the apartment that we filmed my Sims film in, and I was talking to him about how he wrote an article for the New Yorker, and similar kind of questions about the fact-checking process and how that all boils down. So interesting how those things can kind of pop up in the same evening. Also at the Park Slope party, I ended up speaking to someone about like this VR opera that, you know, Jason, myself, and maybe a few other people might be involved with, and just so happens that her cousin is the head of, I believe, the Arizona Opera, and we were talking about the Invisible Cities opera that happened in the Union train station, which, you know, she has some connections for, and I was at the panel for Opera America last year in San Francisco where they talked all about that, and I spoke with a bunch of people involved in that. So again, you know, it's interesting because obviously no one at these parties has a direct connection. None of the hosts of these parties, my connections for going to them, have direct connections to the opera community or anything like that, and yet somehow I still end up speaking to people within these worlds. So that's why I love going to different parties and hanging out with different groups of people. When I was a kid, I used to get so much joy out of taking like people from my high school and people from my elementary school and, you know, imagining like, oh, I bet so-and-so will be friends with so-and-so, and trying to bring those people together. So inevitably, if someone tells me like what college they went to, I'm always asking them, oh, do you know this person or this person, which some people find really annoying, understandably, but I get so excited when it's like, oh, a mutual connection, how do you know them? And that stuff always makes me really excited. So anyway, parties, yeah, we got home super late, like 2:30 a.m., but it was totally worth it. Probably not going to happen again for like 30 years.